right, ladies and gentlemen, really quick, I just want to tell you about one of our fantastic sponsors, and that is Soldier Girl Coffee Company. So if you are watching the video, you can definitely check out the screen share here. I am on our website, and you can go to affiliates, or this will be changing to sponsors soon, and click on Soldier Girl Coffee. As it says on the website, Soldier Girl Coffee is a veteran-owned company. They definitely provide the absolute best coffee I've ever had. It definitely has the pick-me-up that I need in the morning. If we check out her website, of course, down in the right-hand corner, you can definitely chat with her. You can get exclusive discounts she offers to our listeners just by putting your email address in the box on the website. As you can see right here, she has French vanilla cream, 100% Colombian, snickerdoodle Hawaiian hazelnut, and she offers regular as well as CBD-infused coffee. So be sure to go and check out her website. Of course, you can get there by going to our website at businessandbrewshow.com/soldier-girl-coffee, or you can just click the link in the show notes and it'll take you right here. You click on view products and it takes you over to shop around. She even has a little bit of merch. I know when I ordered my bag of Colombian roast, I really enjoy Colombian roast, and she has the best Colombian roast that I have ever had. And of course is a veteran-owned business, but I got a sticker as well as a thank you note. So I really enjoyed that. So now I have my very own Soldier Girl coffee mug that I can drink my Soldier Girl coffee out of. So once again, right now, exclusive discounts just for our listeners. Everybody drinks coffee, whether you're a veteran or a business owner. You're going to need it. You're going to need it for your staff. You're going to need it for your break room. You're going to need it for your house. So go ahead right now, click the link in the description, in the show notes, right here, right now, and go get some Soldier Girl coffee today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited and absolutely have to tell you about a phenomenal way to build your website and keep it up to date. My name is Ryan Smeltz, host of the Business and Brews Show and co-host of Veteran Talk Show. And if you are watching this, I want you to pay close attention to my screen share. This is the website of the Business and Brews Show. And the way I am talking about keeping your website, building it, getting it up to date, and having it managed is by Online Rob. So Rob is absolutely phenomenal. And what I absolutely love about this is he was able to customize the website exactly how I asked him. So as you can see, the homepage has a ton of different pictures from different episodes. Of course, here on the episodes page, you're able to listen on your favorite platform, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio Public, iHeartRadio, or Castbox. You can connect with us, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Listen to the 5 most recent episodes right here on the website. And of course, you can find our sponsors such as Soldier Girl Coffee and, of course, Online Rob. So the best thing about this is, as you can see on my screen, if you're watching, Online Rob is a veteran-owned small business. He will design, build, and manage the entire website for you. That comes with free unlimited updates, a domain name, your business email, and a logo if you need it. All included for our listeners is only $2.99 per year. As it says right on the screen, there are absolutely no contracts and no hidden fees. I handed this to him. He had it back within a very short amount of time. And anytime I need an update or have a question, he is there to help out. So I strongly encourage you, once again, for our listeners, you can go to businessandbrewshow.com/online-rob, or you can click on the link in the show notes. If you are not watching the video version, the link is definitely in the show notes. Be sure to check out our website. I'm super happy with his work. I'm really excited that I no longer have to figure out where to get an SSL, how to install it. I don't have to install the pixel for my Facebook ads. I don't have to manage any of the analytical tools such as Google Analytics, and I don't have to figure out how to connect the domain or set up a business email. He handles all of that for me for the low price of $2.99 per year. So once again, for our listeners, Online Rob offering this exclusive deal. Be sure to go check it out. Make sure when you fill out the form, you put that you heard about him from us in the How Did You Hear About Us box. Business and Brews Show or Veteran Talk Show. Of course, you can always use my name, Ryan Smeltz. And no longer, as a business owner, will you have to build and manage your own website. Have Online Rob do it for you. Take advantage of this exclusive deal, only $2.99 per year. Best of all, he can handle everything from, of course, a podcast to an e-commerce site. No matter what kind of business you run, Online Rob can handle it for you. So go right now, click on the link, fill out the form, take advantage of this exclusive offer, and be sure to put the show name in his How Did You Hear About Us box. Now, let's get back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Morning Brews. This is the short segment that is respectful of your time and gives you the kick in the ass you need to get your day started. So sit down, get your cup of coffee, get ready, and tune in to today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday. Welcome to it. Today, we are going to be talking about communication. So really quick, we're super close to Christmas. I want to let you know that because these are recorded and not live, that you should still see consistent content. Also, this week on Friday, we are launching Ricky Johnson's Redemption on the Veteran Talk Show. So be sure to check out the Veteran Talk Show. Just be aware if you do watch the full length episodes of Veteran Talk Show that they get a little bit more explicit than this show. However, Redemption with Ricky Johnson is super positive, uplifting, and his mission is to provide hope for those who feel like they may not have any. So I strongly encourage you to check that out. Let's jump into today's topic. I have 3 bullet points I want to touch on. Number 1, explain things in a different way. Number 2, ask questions that clarify the point. And number 3, don't be condescending. Okay, so talking about communication in the workplace when you're not in charge, I believe one of the most important things here is learning and understanding lateral communication. That's because oftentimes people in charge feel that they have an open line of communication because they can say anything they want, even though that's not necessarily true. And people who are not in charge feel like they're a little bit not as open to say things because they don't hold that position of leadership or authority. So I want to be encouraging in the fact that those who are in charge and not in charge need to learn how lateral communication works. It's something that we used when we were in the Army to make sure that everyone knew what was going on and everyone had a solid understanding of what the mission was. So be sure to learn that lateral communication and how it works. When I say explain things in different ways, basically what I'm talking about there, and we've covered this before in other topics, is the way that we communicate with each other. Okay. So you may say something and people don't understand it because of the way that you said it or the words that you used. So doing a check while you're speaking to make sure that everyone understands what you're talking about. And then if not everyone understands, basically just changing the words around or saying things a little bit different. We have, I believe, as a society, a really bad habit when someone says what or they don't understand of just repeating the exact same thing that we just said, exactly how we said it. And the truth is, if there was miscommunication or someone didn't understand, then repeating it exactly the same way isn't necessarily going to provide any clarity or help the other person understand. Okay. So I will tell you, I am improving my analogies when I speak to people. Sometimes I use an analogy and it hits home and it makes sense. And sometimes I use an analogy and people have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So that is a place where when I'm speaking to someone and I use an analogy and I get that blank stare, or I say, does that make sense? And they say, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or maybe they ask a question to get some more understanding. Then maybe I use a different analogy to try and make it more clear what I'm talking about. So just making sure that the way we communicate may not be how other people communicate. And that's going to help us explain things in different ways to make sure that we get that understanding on the other end. Okay, so number 2, ask questions that clarify the point. That basically leads back to what I said when I said checking on understanding, check on learning is another way you could put that. If you finish talking and you say, okay, my expectation of you is to communicate with me, everyone have a nice day, and you turn and burn, then you're not going to know if everyone is on the same page or not. To make sure everyone's on the same page, to make sure everyone understands, make sure to ask questions, either questions related to the topic that you were just talking about to make sure that they understood it, which would basically be that check on learning, or to make sure that they understood it. So you could ask something simple like, does that make sense? That's one of my favorite ones. You could ask something if you're talking about communication and you say, hey, team, I want to make sure that everyone here consistently communicates with each other. If we have any questions or anyone needs anything, make sure that they bring it to the table so we can help each other out. Then use an example and ask a question related to it. So, Bob, if you are having trouble covering your shift, what's one way that you could communicate that to the team so we can make sure your shift gets covered? And then he'll answer the question, and then you'll know if you were clear on what your intent was behind making sure that everyone communicates. So asking different questions, you can ask questions to the group, you can ask questions to the individual, you can ask blanket questions like, does everyone understand? Those are sometimes my favorite, because sometimes it may not be a specific example that I can use. And many times, if you have that open communication with your peers, then if someone doesn't understand what's going on, or maybe all of a sudden you're switching things up and normally you don't communicate with the team, and now you are communicating with the team and they're like, what in the world is going on here? Then they're not afraid to step up and ask questions or tell you that they don't understand. So make sure that you explain things in different ways. Make sure that you ask questions to clarify the point. And last, I put in here, don't be condescending. There oftentimes when we feel like there has been neglect, either from a leadership or communication standpoint, then we want to get on a high horse or our soapbox and preach to the crowd, so to speak. I think it's extremely important to know and understand that not everyone has everything figured out. I recently had a conversation with Brian Smith. His episode actually goes up this Sunday, and he was talking about how even though he owns his company and he's in charge, he doesn't have all the answers. He has a very clear understanding with his team that he's always willing to learn. And therefore, that doesn't mean that if someone else on the team steps up to take a leadership role or start open communication with the team, that they need to be condescending. So I think Gary Vee's concept of kindness always wins is super important here. Just because you feel like you have the answer, or just because you feel like you might be doing someone else's job, doesn't mean you have to approach that task or that role with an attitude. So just put yourself into check. Maybe say it out loud in a mirror before you say it to the team, to say, okay, how does this sound? How am I coming across? To make sure that everyone is going to be receptive of whatever it is you have to say. Otherwise, you're going to run into additional friction that you weren't necessarily planning on. It can be a little bit more difficult to have people open up to you, for other peers to be receptive of you as someone either in a leadership role or in a position where you are communicating with the team. So just put your attitude in check. It can be difficult to figure out how to do it first, but once you know how to do it, and of course, we can do another episode about that later on. But just to recap really quick, this Monday, we talked about learning to communicate when you're not in charge. Number one, explain things in different ways. Number two, ask questions that clarify the point. Number three, don't be condescending. And most importantly, as we approach Christmas, make sure to have a good one and spend time with your family and loved ones as well. My name is Ryan Smeltz, and I will see you on tomorrow's episode. Thank you so much for listening or watching Morning Brews. This, of course, has been the kick in the ass you need to get your day started. My name is Ryan Smeltz. I appreciate you tuning in and listening to this. If you've gotten any value from this or any segment on business and brews, be sure to leave us a 5-star review. Tell your friends. Make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe and tell them to leave us a 5-star review. Thank you, and shout out to our sponsors, Soldier Girl Coffee and Online Rob. And I will see you on the next episode.